we as humans need to accept the fact that the nature and universe runs on a specific design. It runs on its own plan. It has its own purpose. And there's nothing that we can think or strategize or theorize or experiment. There's nothing that we can do to change that. And I look at the news every single day. We have these natural disasters going on. Of course, we've got diseases and everything else running rampant. And part of it is because, we're trying to play around with nature, and we need to stop that. See, nature has its own energy and has its own force, and there's not a thing that we can do about it. Every single year during this time of the year, we have a hurricane season. We have tropical storms. We have floods. We have tornadoes. And there's nothing anybody can do to stop that season from coming every single year. It's going to happen. So if you know something in your life is going to happen every single time or during a certain period of time, you should be prepared to deal with it every single time. I gave nature and the seasons as an example because we know to expect that every single time. See, our lack of preparedness is sometimes not warranted. Now, I can understand if something comes up unexpectedly and you're not prepared, that's one thing. But this is something, if it's something that presents itself on a regular basis and you know it's coming and you're ill-prepared every single time, it's not the thing's fault that things fell apart. It's your fault. It's your fault. But see, a lot of us want to turn around instead of just accepting the fact that we could have done a little bit better to be prepared. We'll sit there and when everything's fall apart, we'll play the victim. And we're crying and begging and pleading to everybody within earshot to help us out. I know that feeling because I've been down that road many times before in regards to certain things in my life. But then I got to a point where I got officially sick and tired. We all have to get officially sick and tired at some point. Because the way that you were doing things 20, 30 years ago and you haven't leveled up and you haven't changed, you're going to get the same results at 50 and 60. Just because you put some time in doing the same dumb shit, it doesn't make the benefit any better. Let me say that again. Just because you put in time doing the same dumb shit you've been doing for years, don't expect the result to be any better. It's not. As a matter of fact, it's going to go into the opposite direction. You already know what's going to happen. You already know. So why even bother wasting your time getting upset? See, this is the part I don't understand. And I'll go back to relationships because a lot of you can you can deal with this. Let's say that you had, that you known somebody for years. Y'all probably dated in the past or whatever, but you just kind of occasional acquaintances now. You see each other when you see each other and that's it. You see that person 20, 30 years later, they still have the same mentality that they did before. They got in trouble doing whatever they were doing back then, but they still doing it now. And they're looking for different results. Still hanging with the same people. Still out in the same street. Talking the same game. Doing the same thing. Presenting themselves the same way. But they figure just because I've been doing this for years. Okay, so you're supposed to get a cookie for that? You got in trouble before when you did it. So you figure just because you were new in the game that's the reason why you got in trouble? No. The reason why you got in trouble is because you were running the wrong game. Not because you were new in it. You were in the wrong game for the wrong reason. It was your mentality that created all this drama. And here you are 20, 30 years later, you still trying to do the same thing. And you're wondering why there's still problems. It's not what you were doing, it's your mindset behind it. That's how come hadn't gotten any better. It's you. But people tickle me. They be involved in everything wrong as the day is long. Be involved in bad, low-paying jobs, bad relationships, bad housing conditions, bad money situations. It was bad when they first got involved with it 10, 15 years ago. But they figured, oh, well, I've been doing this for years. So what? So that means you've been enduring this bullshit for years. You think just because you put in time on a bad situation it's supposed to get better because you put in time. There is no logic to that whatsoever. And there's some folks right now listening to this message, they know exactly what I'm talking about. You knew the situation was bad when you first got into it, but you figured because you put in 5, 10, 15, 20 years that it's supposed to just automatically one morning you wake up and it's good. No, it's a bad situation. It's 5, 10, 15, 20 years old. That's what it is. It's still bad. So what you gonna do about it? Y'all, we got programmed that if you put in enough time on something, regardless of what it is, just because you want it, you figure if you put in all this time on something, that it's just going to automatically, magically be good because you put in all that time. When you reach that magic number, when you approach that magic moment, when you approach that magic day, when you approach that magic year, whatever that magic number is, that magic time interval, all of a sudden it's going to go from bad to good at that time. And not an ounce of logic to that shit. Not 1 ounce of logic. You knew it was a mess. You knew it was going nowhere. And you figured because you put in some time that it's just going to automatically be good. Come on, wake up. Wake up. If that's the case, nobody in this world would have any troubles, now would they?